And before he even says anything, I had a dream. That was the quote of Martin Luther King. But Martin Luther King is no longer with us. His dream still is there, but so far remains elusively a dream. Meanwhile, in the 254, Falaris had a dream.
Please tell me why I was dreaming about the Nairobi Stock Exchange last night. Why? And it kind of is like, it's almost like I was having a premonition or whatever. So I was really in the dream. Yeah, I don't know. My every time I hear the NSE or the stock exchange, all I see is red blazers. And my question to Frank Mwiti here is, what's the gist of the red blazers, and do you guys still wear them?
I guess this is where I say, welcome to Capital in the Morning, Frank, and then Mwiti, and then delve into answering that question. Uko tunaga time ya kuwaste, tunaingiaga tuka tumehit hard.
Chico, and good to see you, Falaris. You're right. I think the NSE has that history of having traders with red blazers. Clearly tells me it's been a while since you are the stock exchange.
It's been forever.
It's been quite a while because things have moved on from the red blazer. Things have now gone electronic. So the history of the NSE is that, just similar to other stock exchanges around the world, and we can also talk about why it's called a securities exchange, not a stock exchange now, is that people, traders used to be, to come to the exchange physically. Okay, in a pit, what's called a trading pit. And the red blazers were, sort of the uniform. You needed to earn the red blazer, by the way. So it's not just given to you. But things have changed. So I like that you dreamt about the red blazer, but
they kind of dress differently. But you can continue that dream. Things have indeed changed, because the last time I was at the NSC, it was at a nation building. And then boom, I'm being told y'all moved already.
We moved quite a while back, actually.
Man, it's been
so now we are at in our own building at the on Westers Road. Again, it tells me, Chico, it's been a while.
At least y'all now have your own building. So I won't be going to town in order to go to the NSC Security Exchange, by the way. And also, Falaris won't be looking out for those red blazers. But we did see red in terms of the generation that has come up, Gen Z, and said, we are absolutely not taking this. We will not be tolerant. In fact, we want you to go. We will not let things happen normally. We've seen a number of things happening time and again. A lot of demonstrations, which turned into protests, which turned into something violent, whether it's the state sanctioned or not. The point is, ultimately, it has had an effect in so many areas, including, I believe, the education of our children who have to miss school, which is a heartbreaking thing. We have businesses who are in turmoil. My question is, what about the NSC? How much of a hit did that take? What effect did this whole scenario have?
Right. So interestingly, the first thing, of course, is we don't operate in a vacuum as an exchange. If anything, the NSE is in many ways a reflection of the economy. We are a barometer for the economy. We have the who's and do's of this economy listed on our exchange. And our exchange has both local investors and foreign investors. So, of course, depending on what's happening in the country, that has an impact on the market. Luckily, actually, the NSE has thrived despite some of the activities that have been happening in our country in the recent past. Interestingly, we've seen more local participation in our exchange. And secondly, we've not seen foreign investors pulling back. Instead, what we've seen is foreign investors, I guess, looking at, investors generally, looking at the fundamentals of the economy, whether they are still strong, whether the entities that are listed on exchange are still doing business in a way that is reassuring. One thing I should note is that the bulk of the companies that are listed on the Nairobi Securities Exchange actually do business beyond Kenya. By and large, I would say almost 99% of them are actually doing business in the region. If I take Safaricom, it's in Kenya, it's in Ethiopia. If I take KCB, it's in several countries. So actually, the NSE is a reflection of not just Kenya, but the East African region. But you're right. If investors don't see stability, policy certainty, rule of law, then that can impact the market, just like any other institution. But more importantly, it is the young people we are keen to attract and retain in our market. And so to the extent that young people are keen to see changes, keen to see to receive more information on how things are being managed, including on our exchange, then yes, we are under pressure to make that happen, which is why we're on this show.
I know Philaris is about to take the wheel, because this is her forte, by the way. You have got to come to Financial Focused. You must come to that show. It's on Tuesdays. We'll be telling you how to. You already know, but we'll be reminding you what time that happens. But we're currently speaking, of course, to the CEO, Nairobi Securities Exchange. That is Frank Mwiti. And you mentioned something about these companies that work well beyond our borders.
Yes.
And then you talk about the fundamentals or the foundation of the economy seemingly sound. I'm trying to correlate those two, because the fact that they have extended outside the borders means they have a bit more stability. But I'm wondering about the companies that are registered and are actually just mainly within these borders. How has that been affected? How have they been affected, if at all?
Understood. They have been affected, of course, because first of all, I think I would say three things. The first thing is you want to run a business in an environment with higher levels of certainty and predictability, especially around policy. So one of the big things that even the Kenya Private Sector Alliance has been advocating for is for a policy environment, for example, around taxes, that's a lot more predictable, that's more clear, where a business is able to make long-term decisions with a high level of certainty. So to the extent that we don't have that, or that is diluted, then of course you will see companies looking for opportunities outside our jurisdiction, outside Kenya, where there is more predictability. That's one. Number two is businesses want to be clear that they can access, for example, resources to grow with a lot more certainty than otherwise. So I'll give you an example. In Kenya, we've enjoyed fairly good monetary stability. So, for example, I think the central bank and the National Treasury have done a decent job around managing our foreign FX reserves, making sure the shilling is, well managed. Maybe not, that's not the right word, but it's
stable.
It's stable. It's stable, and that speaks to confidence in terms of investments. But I think the point you're making, Chico, is around what is the impact of some of the democratic activities on a market like ours. The short answer is we are not immune. We are not immune. Having said that, if you're an investor, let's say you're not local, you're foreign, and you're looking around the continent of Africa, there will be few countries that really make the cut. What we must realize is that we are in a very special place. So we need to protect what we have, but we also need to address any issues that come through that require addressing. But you're right. Right now, it's not a very easy environment to do business. The ease of doing business is not as could be better. Foreign direct investment are still seeking a better investment environment. I think Kenya presents that. I think that our investors are demanding more accountability, both of ourselves as well as the companies that invest in. You will see more of that. I actually don't think that will, in any way, we will go back to a time of less pressure. If anything, we will be listening more to come to FM to manage the pressure. Because for sure, investors want more accountability, they want more openness, and they want more certainty, particularly around policy.
Frank Mwiti, the NSC CEO, with us right here on Capital in the Morning, Philaris and Chico. And by the way, you can follow this conversation not just on our website, listening in live, but you can actually also watch the conversation. We are streaming on our social media platforms. That's YouTube. We are streaming also on X, and we are live currently on Facebook.
Amazing. Before we started, you did allude to, helping us understand why it's no longer called the Nairobi Stock Exchange, and it's now called the Nairobi Securities Exchange.
Yes.
Why?
Good point. Thanks for asking that, Philaris. So traditionally, the word stock as refers to, usually it's listed equities or listed shares. So shares of a company, let's say Safaricom, KCB equity, that are listed on an exchange like ours, listed and traded on an exchange like ours. Which would mean that essentially, if that is all we were providing to investors, you're right, it would be called the Nairobi Stock Exchange. Yes. But over time, the NSE has brought other products. So we enable, for example, investors to buy debt instruments like treasury bonds and corporate bonds. We enable investors to buy exchange traded funds. These are structured products. We enable investors to trade in things like derivatives, which are, again, different sort of complex financial products. We enable investors to buy real estate through our market, through instruments called the real estate investment trusts that are listed on our market. As a result, we have not just stocks, we have different types of securities, financial securities. Hence the reason we are called a Nairobi Securities Exchange, because it's not just stocks that we offer. Now, for stocks, it's a big portion of our market. We have 62 listed companies. By the end of this month, there will be 60. We will have 3 more issuers. We can talk a bit more. So things are changing. But the point, Felaris, is that it's not just stocks we sell. It's various types of securities, of which stocks is one of them. Hence the reason we are now called the Nairobi Securities Exchange.
We learn something new every day here on 984 in the morning. And I want to reference a report that came out in May. That was the CEO's report that came from Central Bank. So, of course, the report shows cautious optimism across Kenya's private sector. Firms are actually very hopeful about growth in the next 12 months. And I want us to actually look at the performance of the Securities Exchange for the last 6 months at the half-year mark. Then, of course, they looked at macroeconomic stability and lower bank returns. Now, of course, the concern is squarely around consumer demand, rising costs, and political uncertainty heading into 2027. But we'll focus on this year. How do you see this playing out in the Securities Exchange?
Good point. I think the build-up to the response there should start with last year. So 2024 was actually a fantastic year for the NSE. We were the top performing exchange in Africa as judged by MSCI, which is Morgan Stanley Capital Index. By what that meant is that if you compare our performance across compared to other markets in the continent, we gave investors the highest returns. Now the question has to be, what was the reason for that, and whether that's the same momentum building up to the performance this year. So if you look back at 2024, there are several reasons that really brought that good performance. Of course, I will start by saying part of it is the NSE reforms. The reforms we are doing at the NSE to enable investors to access our market in a more fluid way, to enable investors know more about our market, and more importantly, to also let them know what we are thinking about the future, so they can. So there's an element of that. But referencing the CBK report, it is also true that 2024, for example, a lot of countries in Africa were suffering from foreign exchange difficulties. So the bigger markets we compete with are, South Africa, Nigeria, Egypt, for example, and all those had foreign currency issues. You couldn't just come into the market and exit. A market like Nigeria had serious inflation. Up to now, it's actually about 20-something% inflation. Can you imagine that? What? So you if you're an investor, really, if you're local, inflation is eating your savings. You probably don't have enough to invest because you're busy trying to make ends meet. If you're a foreign investor, you're fearful that your investments will lose value. Kenya, however, had low inflation in 2024. It still has single-digit inflation this year. The Kenya shilling has been it's performed quite well, fairly stable. Around the 129 mark. You remember before that it had, spiked quite a bit. And also, I think the government has tried to communicate its policy stance despite all the other difficulties that we've witnessed. This year, we are witnessing one of the best half year in NSC's history.
Wow.
Okay, all our indices are up. So, for example, the total market performance, this is called the NSC All Share Index. That is all the listed companies put together. They are up about 22.4% this year.
Wow.
Okay. We've done quite a lot to publicize the opportunities in our market, and that actually quite a lot of our listed companies, Ferraris, are undervalued. What that actually means to your listeners and to yourself and to Chico is that this is the time to buy, because if the market is undervalued, it will, by the nature of markets, it will find its true value over time.
It will peak at some point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're right that there's quite some initiatives both on our side and I guess also the policymaker side that have contributed to the new resurgence, including of course our new strategy, which I hope we can talk in a bit more detail.
Absolutely.
What that means.
I don't know if this is the new strategy, but listening to that reminded me of one article that I saw via Standard Group about the retail investors and the move by the NSC from the 1st of August to allow us to now buy shares in ones, not those you had to buy in hundreds, and the prices was kind of exclusively singling us out. Tell us about that decision and if it has had an effect yet, a ripple effect, or should we see a big effect come the first of next month?
You're right, Chico. And our new strategy, at the core of it is we want to revitalize the market. And to do that, what we've realized is that we need to have more retail investors participating in our market. So that's you, me, my mom in my village, actually being able to come and invest at the NSC. And so retail investors for us speak to both local investors here, domestic, as well as diaspora.
Yeah.
Okay. In order to do that, we looked at what does it take to actually just, if you have 100 shillings, can you actually participate in our market? By and large, you couldn't because we had minimums. So, for example, you have to buy minimum of 100 shares of any particular listed entity.
Correct.
Okay. That means, really, the bulk of our people cannot come to our market because it's too expensive.
Correct.
They couldn't access it. So the reforms we are making are to change that. And you're right, Chico, when you say the one share index, what we did is we approached our primary regulator, the Capital Markets Authority, CMA, working together, of course, with the stockbrokers and other stakeholders in the capital markets, because we looked at some of the things that need to change. So that's one of the changes, one of many that we've done. So that means now from August, Chico, you can buy a beer if that's what you partake, and at the same price of a beer, you can buy several other shares, one, if you want. Okay, if you have 10 shillings today, there are shares in our market you can buy. What that means is, truly speaking, really the market is open for everyone. There's no reason now to say, I don't have 10,000 shillings, therefore I can't invest at the NSC. In fact, if you have 10,000, that's a lot.
That's a whole lot of money.
A whole lot.
And apart from
That's
the
a
fact
lot.
that the market is open, it in fact deepens liquidity.
Yes.
Because now there's a whole lot of cash
This is
flow.
it.
And I want to get your thoughts on the other strategic plans, and plus what the liquidity could mean for not just the NSC but for the normal Mwananchi.
This is an important
And I'd like a breakdown of that in just a second, because we're coming back after sports to deal with that. We're speaking to the NSC CEO, Frank Mwiti, who is in the house alongside Ferraris and myself, Chico, on Capital in the Morning. Let's get you updated in terms of sports.
Capital Group Limited is committed to providing high-quality services to the public. In this regard, we welcome audience feedback, which will go a long way in helping us improve our services. If you have a complaint about the quality or content on Capital FM or our digital platforms, please tell us. It is easier for us to resolve complaints if you raise them as soon as you become aware of the issue. Email complaints@capitalfm.co.ke and we will strive to resolve the matter. Capital FM.
Capital Sports Update, where sports is taken seriously.
So seriously that I have to tell you about Kenya's first female professional golfer, Naomi Wafula. Man, she's an inspiration. In fact, she hopes to inspire even more in terms of ladies who are playing the game of golf on a professional level. Wafula says her story is evidence that any talented female golfer, anyone, can actually play at the highest level of the game, regardless of the kind of background that you come from. In fact, the background really doesn't matter. All it serves is the ability to spur you on.
After the professional golfers of Kenya accepted me as the first female, I hope that this inspires girls out there to know they can achieve whatever they dream of and wherever they come from.
The 27-year-old actually made history as the first female professional golfer when she was inaugurated into the Professional Golfers of Kenya about a fortnight ago. Elsewhere, the National Olympic Committee of Kenya are actually set to hold that delayed election that they've been talking about. It is supposed to happen this morning. Ole Sereni Hotel is the venue. The polls will be held, and amid uncertainty over the participation of certain aspirants, including Kenya Table Tennis Association President Andrew Modibo and the former Rugby Union Chair Alexander Sasha Mutai. The top seat, which is the presidency, pits current Secretary General Francis Mutuku against the first Deputy President Shadrach Maluki. England national women's team player Lucy Bronze admits that racism abuse is actually increasing in the game following hateful messages sent to her teammate Jess Carter at the ongoing Euros. Bronze says that many players of color who put the England jersey on have suffered racist abuse, a fact that she says is really frustrating the entire team setup.
I think we all know that any player of colour that's played for England has probably gone through racist abuse. That's a sad fact in this day and age. And in terms of emotions, yesterday I think there was a lot of anger, to be honest, because we're having to go through this. Because as players, we want to stand up and we want to make a change.
After the professional golfers of Kenya.
Sorry about that. The Lionesses play Italy in the semi-final tomorrow amid the storm over racist messages sent to Carter via social media. That is your Capital FM Sports Update.
Capital Sports Update, up-to-the-minute sports, where sports is taken seriously.
What's up, y'all? This is Alicia Keys.
It's not just a blog.
What's up, y'all? I'm Beyonce.
It's the art of living. Capital Lifestyle, where every story is a front row seat to the extraordinary. We don't follow trends. We set them. From the glimmer of couture runways to the glow of candlelit dinners, from the thrill of fairway destinations to moments that turn ordinary into unforgettable. This is life elevated. Your next adventure, your next indulgence, your next inspiration starts here. Find us at capitalfm.co.ke/lifestyle. Connect with us at lifestyle@capitalfm.co.ke and follow the journey with Kenya's undisputed premier lifestyle connoisseur, Vinny O. On socials at Captain Vinny O. Capital Lifestyle. Not just life, the best of it. This is Capital in the Morning Breakfast Show.
The best mix of music. Capital FM.
red wine, you make me feel so fine. You keep me rocking all of the time. Red wine, you make me feel $1 when you're just in my hand. Red wine, you make me feel so sad.
You know, the thing is, I know our producer oh so well, DJ Schwaz. And the moment Frank Mwiti mentioned if you drink your beer, you enjoy your beer for the same price, you can buy a number of shares actually. So there's no one who can partake. He knows the only thing I take is pretty much wine. So he's trying to hint that UB40 are telling you, put that glass down and invest in the Forex, you know, put some money in there and buy some shares, which is a brilliant thing. So thank you very much to Schwaz. Meanwhile, you hang out with Chico Falaris and, of course, the CEO, the NSE, which is the Nairobi Securities Exchange, Frank Mwiti. Now, we left off with discussion on terms of, you know, the liquidity and what would happen, and we were just chatting with Frank Mwiti just off air, and he actually, a few questions coming from Falaris, and was like, actually, you know, all this is encompassed or captured with our strategy. Correct. So back to the standard. And there's a part that reads, and I read, quote, NSE expects the move to deepen liquidity, adding that it directly supports the NSE 2025 through to 2029 strategic plan. Keep your mind on that phrase, strategic plan. The strategic plan looks to grow retail investors at NSE to 9 million by 2029. It's rather audacious target for a market that has about 1.6 million, but only less than 40,000 are actually active. 9 million investors would also mean that a third of Kenya's working population participating in the market is captured. Now, NSC also plans to list, get this, an additional 40 companies on the market as it seeks to expand investment opportunities. Just reading this kind of tells you the one thing that I want to hear is a bit more on this strategic plan.
Yeah.
Oh, this is where you jump in. Okay, Frank Mwiti.
Like on the moment.
This is all about you.
But you know, I'm in your studio, so I wait for for you to let me know when I should jump in. So you're right. First of all, at the NSC, we have a new strategy for the period 2025-2029, which basically means we are already 6 months into implementation of the new strategy. And yes, it's an ambitious strategy. To start off with, as you've made reference to the article by Standard, we want to have 9 million retail investors by 2029. The key word, though, is 9 million active retail investors. It's not just good enough to open an account and that's that. We want you to be active. Active means you are actually trading in the market. I know I'm looking at you, Chico, because I just
registered. I know what he's about to get into. It's like
so we have 1.6 million.
Yes.
Only 40,000 active.
Yes.
To add the disparity between the 1.6 million and the 90 million without them being active.
9 million, not 90.
9 million is actually insane. The disparity is so stark.
Yes.
But then now you're saying, forget the 1.6, go even further down to 40,000 who are active. We wanted to be 90.
So there are three things. The first thing is, let's start off with why are 1.6 why is the bulk of the 1.6 million accounts, retail investor accounts, dormant or not as active?
Inactive.
Yes, and that's what we are solving for. They don't have. Some of them don't know. They even have accounts. You know why? Because a lot of them opened during the Safaricom IPO when it was. There was quite a lot.
There was a lot of noise around
that. And because of that, people mobilized, they opened accounts, and then more or less tailed off.
Yeah.
Okay. So there is, first of all, awareness about the accounts. Then it is providing them with information on what they can do with through those accounts. It's enabling them. Remember, these were accounts that were opened before we even knew things like M-Pesa. Before we think about mobile phones were a very not a common thing. The social media was not even a thing. So the world has changed. What we want to do is to get the bulk of those investors aware of our market, have information to trade, and more importantly, by the way, Chico and Velaris, people who open accounts and are not active don't make money.
They don't make
They
money.
don't make money. It's just simple like that. It's like the equivalent of going in the middle of Kajiado and buying a piece of land, which I think most of us do.
A lot of
and
people
leave
do
it
that.
there. And leave it there. Okay. So we are running financial literacy programs, for example, so that people are more aware of how exactly to work with a market like ours.
Yeah.
We are also, for example, looking to work a lot with chamas and SACCOs, which are more or less aggregators of this demand.
Correct.
In fact, in some forums, we've been told 9 million is not ambitious enough.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
So actually, it's getting to a point where I think, okay, you know what? I'm going to stick with my 9 million. Let me get my 9 million first, then we get going. Actually, just to complete that point, today, if you look at how many young people, for example, are betting, how many of us have accounts with SACCOs? How many have bought some piece of land somewhere?
Yes.
How many have bank accounts and maybe they have deposits or savings that are not, earning quite a bit?
Yeah.
You've seen the huge surge, for example, by retail investors into government treasury bonds and
Yes,
treasury
the bonds.
bills.
Yeah.
So the market actually, there's enough opportunity to actually get these guys coming into our market. What we need to do is to implement our strategy that speaks to awareness, financial literacy, ease of coming to our market, using technology, particularly mobile phones, to trade our market, and of course, showcasing people who have actually used the market to make it work. So the issue, I think, is not whether we can get to the 9 million, Chico. The issue is, once we are at 9 million, whether you will be part of that, of that party, let me call it. Yes.
It's interesting. Phalaris is about to come in, but I just wanted to quickly rush to our social media because we do get, people weighing in via our WhatsApp number, which is 0701984984. In case you want to, share an opinion or ask an important question that you find, you can send it there, or you can just tag us on X. We'll see it at 984 in the morning. #drive-in. That's with a double N. I got a statement here, an opinion coming in from, if I am not wrong, this would be in your coffee, I stand to be corrected, who writes, so sad that only 40,000 are active. I think some investors decided to invest in treasury bonds and bills and the money market. Financial literacy will definitely go a long way. That's one comment. There's another one here that is saying, good morning, Chico and Phalaris. Lovely discussion you're having today with the CEO, Frank Mwiti. I'd like to know more about these new investment opportunities. Are there platforms where this information can actually be found? And then there's one that came through one of our viewers leaving a comment as we stream. How much were the returns in 2024 driven by the Forex reforms or situation? So I don't know if you wanted to delve into those ones, or you want to continue the discussion and come back and answer these questions, or you feel that it would be...
Let me touch on the 40,000 very quickly.
Go ahead.
So the first thing to mention is the 40,000 that we've said are active. Of course, this speaks to individual.
Joanne, I beg your pardon.
Sorry?
It's Joanne.
Joanne, yes. Okay. So to Joanne's point, that speaks to the individual accounts. But actually, our market, we trade about between 10 and $15 million daily. Okay? We are a $15 billion market. Okay? So we're not it's not some small fish we're talking about here. The 40,000 are individual accounts where Frank has an account with a broker. But actually, the bulk of our retail investors go through things like collective investment schemes. So if in our account we won't see Phalaris, we'll see a fund.
Yeah.
Okay. So don't get too focused on the 40,000 as a low number, because if we are trading 10 to $15 million a day, and the bulk of that is 50% local, 50% foreign, the 50% that are local, a lot of individuals don't come directly to the market. They come through funds, like a collective investment scheme. So it's not the 40,000. It's not. No, actually, we are doing very well.
Actually, part of the article says it's currently riding the market is currently riding on a wave of resurgence after a multi-year period characterized by a lull. Last year, the NSC, as you've pointed out, emerged as the best performing market in Africa in dollar terms.
Correct.
10 to 15 million kind of makes sense. That is according to the Morgan Stanley Capital International International Frontier Market Index. So we're not doing too badly, but we can definitely do a whole lot better.
Of course.
We can do
And
better.
if this is, if we're riding this wave, I can only imagine what these strategic plans have, what effect they'll have on it.
For sure.
I know with good performance, 24, you said almost 24% returns in the last 6 months. What sectors are carrying this?
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, good question. Good question. So now let's start with the list. The listed companies cut across different sectors, about 11 or so sectors. Banking, manufacturing, telecoms, etc. This year we've seen the energy sector do very well. So these are the Kenya Powers, the Kengens. Those have done very well. Of course, the banking sector, which has about 11 or so exposures.
Yeah.
Now, the banking sector has done really well on the back of some of the other headlines you've seen in terms of how they performed and also the dividends they've paid out.
Yeah.
So that sector did well. Safaricom is a dominant listing in our market. It's sitting with the telecoms sector. So telecoms has also done quite well. There are other sectors that could do better, but I guess it's just a reflection of the market. For example, our manufacturing sector, if you zero in on, let's say, East African breweries and British American tobacco, they've done well. But by and large, manufacturing has been on the back foot a bit, primarily because of some of the challenges in our economy.
Exactly.
Some of them have even issued some market information on how things are panning out. We also saw, for example, some impact on our agricultural sector listings, because, for example, the war in the Middle East impacts how we get our tea and coffee, for example, into those markets.
Correct.
So some of the factors are less about our internal issues
and very
more about
external.
the geopolitical implications. But the ones that have done really well are some of the sectors I've mentioned: financial services, energy, for example,
telecos.
Yes.
Do we have any listed products in other stock exchanges? And here I'm driving towards collaboration with other securities exchange or stock markets.
Okay. So yes and no.
Or is there even potential for such a thing to happen?
Yes. I think you should. If things don't work out at Capital FM, you should cross over to NSC. we have things to do, a market to build. We need
Minds like hers. I told you financial focus.
So and for sure I'm coming on your show.
You're very much invited, by the way.
Definitely. So what's the yes part? The yes part is that first of all, we do have cross listings into our market. For example, we have the Bank of Kigali from Rwanda cross listed into NSC. So that means you can buy Bank of Kigali shares
from here,
from NSC.
Oh wow!
We also have Umeme, although Umeme, there's a likelihood the cross listing might cease because of some of the changes happening in Uganda. But Umeme is the Kenya Power of Uganda. It's cross listed on our exchange. In the past, we've also had outbound cross listings. That means things listed at the NSC that are listed in other markets. For example, we had the Acorn Green Bond, which was a green bond. Remember?
Acorn, yes.
The $40 million
the guys who do
green
the
bond.
rates.
Yes, correct.
If I'm not wrong. Yeah.
Yes. So that was cross-listed it was listed in Nairobi and also listed in London. Although it's finished they did the redemptions. That means they finished paying and it was redeemed last year. What we are also now doing is listing products at the NSC that enable you literally to buy the world. And we did that last Wednesday, this week that has just gone by. We listed what's called the Citrix World ETF.
That's
ETF stands for
quite
Exchange.
a mouthful. You said Citrix MSCI.
It's called the Citrix World MSCI Feeder Index.
Oh.
The point is, it's an ETF. ETF means Exchange Traded Fund. So imagine that I have a basket of shares from around the world listed in other markets, and I take that basket and list it at the NSE. And you can buy it like the normal you buy a share.
Oh, wow.
Today, when you buy that ETF, you are buying 1,398 stocks in one go around the world listed across 23 markets.
Wow.
Okay? Today, if you buy it, you have exposure to Tesla, to Amazon,
Apple,
to Microsoft.
Wow.
Yeah, in one go. You have exposure to Japan, top listed entities. You have exposure to
Hong Kong,
all
yeah.
different markets, 23
Yeah.
markets. So what that does, Felaris, is it means you don't have to start doing very complicated things.
Yeah.
Buy that ETF, you've bought the world. Now, here's the trick. We've made sure that it's listed in Kenya shilling. So you don't even have to think about foreign exchange, what. What we are trying to do is to say, as much as we are pushing for local listings to come to our markets, you can own and invest in Kenya's economy, like we've done with all the other blue chip 60 companies that are listed on our exchange. We're also saying we'll give you the opportunity to invest across the world through us. That speaks to the social media question about what are these opportunities.
Yes.
And that's just one of them. I can also tell you, today you don't have to go look for plots of land in the middle of nowhere to invest in real estate. You can buy, through our exchange, you can buy what are called real estate investment trusts. Okay? These enable you to buy, basically you're buying a stake in real estate as if it was a share. Not as if, it is a share. And it's regulated and licensed. So, today your investors, your audience should be talking to their brokers, stockbrokers, and saying, I want to buy real estate, I want to buy the world, and I want to buy the part of the Kenyan economy through the NSE.
Which then brings
it's
me to
literally
the
like
prices.
magic, isn't it?
I have to come to the prices. But the funny thing about the show is that we just start things off, but it's ultimately learned by the very person who's listening to us right now, right? So a few comments coming in. First and foremost, we can start off with YouTube, someone viewing on YouTube, and this person is Moses Njuguna, who says, could you touch on the brokerage fees, as that's one key impediment for investing in the NSE? And after you're done with that, Philip will have a question coming your way that he'd like answered in terms of, does the exchange have enough volatility for day trading?
Okay. Shall I go?
Go. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Go.
You know.
I should trade off with saying Mwiti.
I'm used to boardroom setups, okay? I'm used to boardroom setups, so, you know. But, so let me start with the volatility. So, as I said, our market trades about $10 to $50 million a day. What that means is that if you take your time to understand the market, if you work through your brokers that give you information and probably also advise you on what to buy, when to buy, you can ride the volatility and make quite a lot of money. Quite a lot of money. Should we have more volatility? It depends on your school of thought. Volatility for some traders is fantastic because you make money going up, you make money going down. There are ways to make money going down. Surprise, surprise. It's called short selling. That's a different discussion for another day, maybe when I go to
financial forecast, yes.
Listening on that, most definitely.
Volatility is good because it enables people to enter and exit the market, which is what really trading is all about. And volatility of itself, these are data points. There's something about that is telling you whether to invest or to whether to buy or to sell. We could have more volatility, but obviously because we are also a licensed and regulated market, there are guardrails we have on that volatility. So if it's volatility that sort of goes out of kilt, then we have circuit breakers. Essentially, we stabilize the market by either suspending trading if it is too volatile, because then you can destroy value, and there could also be other malice that might be behind the volatility. And we do a lot of market surveillance in collaboration with the Capital Markets Authority. So yes, there is enough volatility. It could be more. The issue I think that probably the question is pointing to is whether that volatility cuts across all our listed entities. Because some of them are not volatile at all. You just stick there. There's no movement. And so if you're interested in buying and maybe potentially benefiting from the upside, if there's no volatility, there isn't much. So of the 62, I agree, it's not every entity there that is volatile. And as I said, depending on your school of thought and your trading styles, volatility is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Liquid. The other question was what? Liquid. Sorry, I forgot it.
I'll come back to it, but
Okay.
but there's someone who's listening to right now, Joanne, who's actually asking about investing directly and not via brokers,
Yes.
because she's just about to walk into a meeting.
Yes.
She's like, I gotta go. Can I really hear this
Okay.
part?
Okay.
So the questions are coming in thick and fast.
Yes. So, I think she's referencing to the ability to come to our market without going through a broker.
A broker.
The short answer
Which is the same question that was asked by Moses Njuguna.
yes.
Yes.
The short answer is no. The long answer is there is a way to trade our market with minimal human interaction. Back in 2019, the Capital Markets Authority approved what are called the NSE Direct Market Access Guidelines. What that does is that, and we haven't implemented it yet, but once implemented, what that will mean is that yes, you will still require a broker. Okay, you will always require a broker to come to our market, but what it means is your order to buy or to sell, your order to buy or to sell will not be touched by the broker. That's what the guidelines say. What that means is that yes, you're coming to the market through a broker because of the trading pipes.
Yeah.
But that transaction does not have the broker touching it. That means they're not the ones pushing it to the market. You push it to the market through the broker's infrastructure into the NSE directly, okay, which happens across the world. In fact, last week, APSA got approval to bring APSA South Africa to trade directly into our market.
Oh, wow.
It's called sponsored access. So APSA is the sponsor of APSA South Africa. So sponsored access, which is what is envisioned in the direct market access guidelines, is now live. What we want to do is to enable brokers to work with their investors, retail investors, to be able to trade directly in our market through apps, mobile apps. So that trade essentially will originate, let's say, from Felaris through your broker, stockbroker's account directly to our market.
Okay.
The broker will not push it to the market. Automatically, it will come to our market. So the broker is still in the picture. It's just that tech is removing the need for the human
element.
Now, by the way, 99.99% of all trading in the world happens through electronic trading.
Yes.
Okay, not humans. Those days are gone, my friend. Okay. What you need to realize is that the way technology is going, it means when my mom in my village opens an account, she should open an account within 5 minutes, and she should start trading immediately. Okay, so the brokers are helping streamline that. Yes.
Okay. And you know what? We're not letting the CEO of NSC, Frank Mwiti, leave just yet. We'll still like 10 more minutes in the next hour, this hour, which is the request hour. So go ahead, because we still want to delve into that technology and the exchange and the effect that it has, especially with the upcoming youthful market, which is what you're targeting, and also the dangers that come along with it and how to circumvent them. Those questions and a lot of other questions that are coming your way will be in the next hour. Meanwhile, right now, just like the NSC, times change, technology changed the game. It's done the same thing for NCBA. I can tell you that because you and I don't open an account going to the bank anymore. No, we do it through technology, through our phones. And all you need to do is visit their website, ke.ncbagroup.com, to find out more information on how you can open that account for yourself and from someone else, wherever you are. Avoid the paperwork, avoid the long queues, and also be able to trade Forex trading, yes, it's part of it. Send money and so much more. But first and foremost, how about we cross over to Uni Amunga?
The best mix of music. Capital FM.
Capital Newsbeat with Insurance Regulatory Authority.
IBC to announce timelines for by-elections this week. Terminal 1 set to reopen following temporary closure. And Sri Lanka bans kite flying near international airports. Good morning, I'm Unia Amunga.
Capital Newsbeat.
The Kenya Airports Authority has confirmed the reopening of Terminal 1C at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport following a temporary closure that saw flight operations relocated to Terminals 1A and B. KAA confirmed that all flights which had been shifted through the disruption have now resumed operations from Terminal 1C. The recurring fire alarm prompted a temporary shutdown of the terminal. The alarm, which was first triggered at 2:55 p.m., continued to reactivate despite an initial silencing, prompting airport officials to vacate the terminal as a safety precaution. KAA indicated that the alert was likely triggered by a system fault, which is under investigation. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission is set to announce timelines for upcoming by-elections. Speaking during a press conference over the weekend, the Commission's chairperson, Edung Ethekon, stated the need to restore representation in areas affected by vacant seats, noting that citizens in those constituencies are entitled to full constitutional rights. He assured that the Commission is finalizing internal preparations and will communicate detailed schedules in phases.
IBC will work with Parliament and political parties to address the issues of pending by-elections in the next few days. This is our first priority, given the fact that the people in those affected areas must have their elected representatives within the shortest time possible, because it's their constitutional right to representation. As you may be aware, perhaps, currently there are 23 by-elections in various electoral areas that we expect to undertake.
The IEBC's planned announcement comes amid growing public and political pressure to fill vacant parliamentary and county assembly positions, with critics citing delays in fulfilling democratic obligations. Ethekon said the Commission will announce timelines for the resumption of continuous voter registration in August through a Gazette notice. Chief Justice Martha Koome is expected to preside over the official unveiling of the Judiciary Committee on Elections Operational Plan for the 2025-2028 period. The launch in Nairobi marks a significant step in the judiciary's ongoing efforts to enhance preparedness and efficiency in handling election-related disputes ahead of the 2027 general election. The committee is a permanent body to ensure that the judiciary's preparations follow the electoral cycle approach and continuously learns, approves, and adapts. The strategic plan reflects the hard work and lessons learned by the JCE and will guide the judiciary's roadmap for the next general election. And finally, the Airport and Aviation Services Limited has banned kite flying near international airports due to safety concerns for aircrafts and passengers. According to the state-owned Sunday Observer, authorities have prohibited flying any object above 300 feet within a 5-kilometer radius of any international airport in Sri Lanka. Violating this rule is considered a punishable offense. The ban applies to all 5 international airports across the country, and officials issued the warning to highlight the risks that kites and other airborne objects pose to flight operations and passenger safety. Flying kite is a popular hobby in Sri Lanka. For more on these and other stories, dial star 411 star 4#. That's Capital Newsbeat. I'm Unia Amunga. You're up to date at 7 minutes past 9.
Protect your family's future with life insurance. In tough times, it's the safety net they'll need. Life happens. Be prepared. Insurance Regulatory Authority. Bima Bora kwa Taifa.
Hello, Captain Bima here from IRA. Did you know there are different classes of motor vehicle insurance? These include public service vehicle, commercial vehicle, private cars, and motorcycles. Ensure that the sticker on your motor vehicle correspond with the usage and class of motor vehicle insurance you have purchased. Please contact your agent, broker, or insurance company for the right class of motor vehicle insurance. Now you know. Read and understand the terms and conditions of your policy document. This message is brought to you by Insurance Regulatory Authority, IRA. IRA, Bima Bora kwa Taifa.
Capital Weather.
Well, hello and good morning. If you're just getting up, well, good morning, sunshine, because might as well call you sunshine or buttercup. Waking up here in the capital, Nairobi, you can expect partly cloudy skies today, highs of 23 degrees. All the way in London, good morning. Expect light rain today, highs of 23 degrees. Dubai, well, Very, very hot and sunny day, 42 degrees weather. Brussels, you're going to be experiencing light rain today, highs of 21 degrees. And finally, Amsterdam, expect rainy conditions today, highs of 22 degrees. And that's your weather update at 8 minutes past 9 o'clock. Good morning.
Rain or shine, we play the best mix of music all day long. 98.4.
Who would dance on the floor in the round? She said I am the one. Who would dance on the floor in the round? She told me her name was Billie Jean as she caused a scene. Then heavy hair turned with the eyes to dream of being the one. Who would dance on the floor in the round?
The jam that the CEO who was caught in that HR scandal would love to be singing right now. Shame my lover. But instead, he sunk down. Keep your hands off HRs, by the way, if your bosses. Like pastors should keep their hands off treasurers if they're female. Or if you're in a position of power, like a president, you wouldn't expect you to have a CS, would be. And then again, it's a free country. Do what you gotta do. Good morning, it's Philaris and Chico. And Philaris is not my lover. Can say that confidently, but she is my colleague, and we have a blast here every single morning on Captain in the Morning. This morning, though, slightly different. We've enjoyed the company of someone else. They say three's a crowd, not this time round. Thank you very much to the CEO, NSC, Frank Mwiti, in the house. As we wrap up, but in the next 4 minutes, how about we just get through the final thoughts? You already know what I want to hear. I want to hear how the growth of the NSC, we hear big money, 15 million a day, and you're like, oh, being valued as one of the best performing in Africa. An introduction with your strategic plan that is allowing people to not only buy the world, but buy real estate all in one basket, and of course being able to buy those shares not necessarily that 100 share bundle, which has made sure that we can receive it and we can be part of this trading family and exchange family. But still begs the question for normal mwananchi, why would this even matter? Once you're done with that, Philaris' question will pretty much wrap it up as we get your final thoughts.
Thank you, Chico, and definitely being in the studio is very different from being in my corner office. To start off with, as I said, the NSC has a new strategy for 2025-2029. This was approved by the board in November last year. So we are in the implementation phase now. The strategy speaks to the need to revitalize our market by bringing more investors into our market, but also getting more listings and products in our market. So I'll speak to three things that we're doing. The first one is we are running financial literacy and investor education campaigns across the country. That is to inform and raise awareness about the opportunity that the NSC presents in terms of investments, in terms of making money. In fact, since the history of mankind, stock exchanges have been the single biggest wealth creation engine, bar none. Okay, so if you're not participating in the stock market, let me use the word stock for now because I think that's the fallacy people understand. You're missing out on a trick for wealth creation and capital preservation.
You mean see God? And the God and the exchange.
The God man say that one also. That has its own. There are those that do that, but anywhere you go, anywhere in the world, stock markets are the single biggest wealth creation engines. Okay, you can continue doing your job, you can continue doing your business, while your money makes money for you through the stock exchange. Literally, it means I can own a stake of the Kenyan economy. Literally, you're buying Kenya with your 10,000 shillings, with your 1,000 shillings. Literally. That's what it means.
You literally become a shareholder.
Yes, of the country. You know, what's interesting, Chico Philaris, today, let me give an example. You drove here in your car that you fueled. That fuel probably is supplied by Total, as an example. Total existed on our market.
Correct.
Today you used Safaricom phone, data and all that. Okay? You paid Safaricom.
Yeah.
You, by being a shareholder of Safaricom, you're paying yourself. You made reference to NCBA just now when we were talking.
Yeah.
Okay? NCBA is probably, maybe you have a loan from NCBA, you're paying them interest. If you buy NCBA shares, you are owning a stake of it's not complicated.
Yeah.
The things that you do every day, if you say, how can I return that money to myself in one or another? That's it. You will sit down and say, when I take a drink, it's EABL. I need to have shares. When I use my Safaricom line, I need to own Safaricom shares. When I can go on. If you are a smoker, you get it. It's not complicated.
That basket you were talking about, now that is very interesting because then you don't have to go into the nitty-gritties of this single one and this single one.
This is it.
This is brilliant.
This is it.
And especially if you have a long-term kind of generational wealth kind of building idea, you're not thinking about yourself the here and now, which is what a lot of these big billionaires think about. They think about generational wealth.
Correct.
This would be a great way to get it.
This is fantastic.
Great way.
And don't forget shares. If you decide to let's say, for example, pass them on to the young, to your children, for example, as inheritance. Easy for them to inherit it and continue. Okay. Now, what are we doing? So, beyond raising awareness, financial education, investor education, financial literacy programs, we are also working with entities that people trust, people on the ground trust, chamas and SACCOs, because most people in Kenya, at least, really can relate to those entities. So we say, how can we enable you to access our market through those entities that you already work with from a financial perspective? So we have started a program to interface with SACCOs and chairmans so that we can also raise awareness at that level, so that then it can aggregate demand to come to our market. We have an ambition to have 40 listed companies, new listed companies by 2029, and 50 listed funds by 2029. The beauty is, as we start today, on the listed funds, 1 down, 49 to go. Correct? Because I've just told you we listed one last week.
Last week, yes.
Yes. This week, actually on Thursday, on Thursday, we are listing another 2 entities. There's a company called SKL that we are listing on Thursday this week. And we are also listing what's called Talanta Asset-Backed Security for the stadium on our exchange. So again, that means we are from 50,
there's progress.
3 down, 47 to go. Okay, we are talking to the government about privatization, for example, of the Kenya pipeline. If that comes through, that will be a big opportunity for everyone in the country to have a stake also on an entity that is also very profitable and very instrumental to our market. The point is, if you're not participating in the NSE through your brokers, you're missing out. Utaanza kusema ni God manze, but that won't work.
It's where we say kosa uchekwe. As we wrap up, maybe one solid message you'd have for your domestic investors, your foreign investors, and also people who might be sitting on the fence as far as them participating in the securities exchange. What message do you have for them?
Okay, I will say this. When I joined the NSC, one of the biggest things that was a surprise for me is that the biggest investors in our market are foreign investors. There's something they see that we don't seem to see, which is that there's opportunity in our market if you take your time to see it. Now, when I said last year we were the top performing exchange in Africa, the bulk of those returns were taken by foreign investors. While you and I are waking up on Saturday and driving into the middle of nowhere to buy a piece of land that is neither here nor there. People are getting 56% return. That was the highest last year on some of the listed equities on our market. So the message is, number one, talk to your brokers. If you don't have one, come to our website. You will find the list of approved, licensed stockbrokers. Interface with them. Demand that they give you information on how you open an account so that you can start trading. A lot of them will even give you mobile apps so that you don't have to do physical trading. They will even be able to supply you with information. Now, if you come to our website, nsc.co.ke, that's a plug before you cut me out.
Plug away.
It enables you to access a lot more information. You can also follow us on our X, is it called Twitter or X? Handles. We have social media handles. Yes, platforms. So that you can get a lot of this information. You can be aware of the products. You can get more information about some of the programs that we are running. So that then you can learn. And in that way, when you go to your brokers to open an account, you know what you're doing. More importantly, there is opportunity to build wealth through the NSE. Own a stake of Kenya, own a stake of the world through the NSE. Thank you.
Absolutely. We've been hanging out with the CEO, NSE, the Nairobi Securities Exchange, right here on Capital in the Morning with Philarius and myself, Frank Mwiti. Thank you very much for coming through. And you've heard the man. Own a stake of your country through the NSE. Just visit the website, talk to the brokers, and get your journey to making money started and become a shareholder of the country. Oh, shareholders. Maybe we shouldn't have been so hard on him regarding Gachagua. Meanwhile, great music coming in. It's still the request hour. And here we have everyone with the good news we've heard from the NSC probably dancing right now like CNC Music Factory says.